Supreme Court votes against Trump's global tariffs. White City's expanding its community boundaries and announcing this year's crop insurance program.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. For more than a year, the Trump administration has used tariffs as a tool to redraw the United States' relationships with partners all around the globe, and that includes us in Canada. But in a closely watched ruling this morning, the U.S. Supreme Court said Trump was overstepping his authority by putting some of those trade barriers in place. Abigail Bimman has the latest.
I'm ashamed of certain members of the court, absolutely ashamed.
The American president says he's deeply disappointed in the U.S. Supreme Court decision striking down so-called IEEPA or fentanyl tariffs. He then, as many predicted, announced new ones.
Today I will sign an order to impose a 10% global tariff under Section 122, over and above our normal tariffs already being charged. And we're also initiating several Section 301 and other investigations to protect our country.
President Trump has famously said his favorite word is tariff. And so I don't think they're going to simply walk away.
IEEPA tariffs collected an estimated $240 billion. The Supreme Court decision did not address refunds, while one dissenting opinion noted handling them would be a mess.
Unraveling that and securing refunds is going to be messy, but that's certainly going to be a key issue that Canadian businesses are going to be focused on.
While steel and aluminum, automotive and lumber tariffs remain in place. Yet the vast majority of Canadian goods were exempt from IEEPA tariffs anyway due to CUSMA, the free trade deal that's up for review.
With these midterms, with a shifting political climate in the United States, with the inability of Congress to just follow him at a command, all of those things add up to a situation where I think it is more likely that he's actually going to engage on CUSMA than attempt to burn it to the ground.
The lead minister on the Canada-U.S. file said in a statement the court decision reinforces Canada's position that IEEPA tariffs are unjustified, but, quote, critical work lies ahead to fight for businesses still impacted by tariffs on steel, aluminum, and autos. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Now, the province released a statement regarding the ruling. Saskatchewan will continue our efforts to diversify our export markets to countries all over the world and to convince U.S. lawmakers that free and fair trade between Canada and the U.S. benefits businesses and consumers in both countries. Metal detectors have been installed at 3 more Saskatchewan hospitals to help address security concerns. The Saskatchewan Health Authority says metal detectors have been installed at the main entrances of Battleford's Union Hospital, Victoria Hospital in Prince Albert, and the Regina Urgent Care Centre. The Health Authority says everyone entering hospitals with metal detectors will have to declare any restricted items, which will have to be removed from the facility or secured in a designated locker. Restricted items include duffel bags, luggage or food coolers, and weapons of any kind. That includes knives and sharp objects. A 49-year-old man has been charged in connection with a crash that resulted in the death of a pedestrian. It happened the morning of December the 16th, 2025 at an intersection in Regina's northeast industrial area. Police say a pickup truck collided with a woman walking on the street. The 26-year-old victim was taken to hospital but later succumbed to her injuries. After a 2-month investigation, Kevin Krieger faces a charge related to excessive speeding. He'll appear in court next month. A home in a small community northwest of Nipawin has become a crime scene as police investigate a suspected murder-suicide. Yesterday, RCMP were called to the village of Love. 2 people, a 77-year-old woman and an 81-year-old man, were found dead inside a home. Police believe the woman was killed while the man died by suicide. Police say the 2 people are from the same family, but their names or relations are not being released by police at this time. Well, it's a crime some believe can't happen in their neighborhood, but during a 10-year span, Stats Canada says there have been more than 5,000 human trafficking incidents reported by police in Canada. Today, the issue was front and center in Saskatoon. Keenan Sorkon explains why.
Dozens of people stood out in the cold to raise a Stop Human Trafficking flag at Civic Square and keep a focus on the crime often targeting young women.
People don't realize that in a small city of Saskatoon that we are affected. The communities outside of us are affected.
Police reports of human trafficking have increased over the last 10 years, with experts saying the crime still goes largely unreported. Data from Public Safety Canada says more than 90% of victims are women and girls. Of those, more than 60% are under the age of 25.
They'll go to the hotels, they'll pick young people or vulnerable people up at bus stops, at motels, restaurants, wherever. We just want people to understand and be aware.
Once the flag was raised, the crowd marched to the Parktown Hotel, where a panel discussion with advocates and members of the Saskatoon Police Service spoke about how trafficking works, who's most vulnerable, and the steps people can take to recognize and prevent it. With 91% of guilty verdicts in human trafficking involving men, staff look for the duration of the stay, who's booking versus who is paying, and if the man is doing all the talking.
With the hotel sector, we really have educated our staff on how to recognize if this is actually happening within any of our properties. They've taken training on this and just to prepare themselves for anything. Events
are being held throughout the weekend across the country, with Sunday marking National Human Trafficking Awareness Day. Keenan Sorakan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
White City is extending its boundaries to allow for future growth. 3 sections of agricultural land is being annexed from the RM of Edenwald that will allow White City to nearly double its population. Wayne Mantica has the details.
White City is adding 504 acres of land to the east of the community to create a subdivision called the Meadows. It's largely pasture land situated between the Trans-Canada and number 48 highways. The mayor expects the land will be used primarily for residential purposes.
This expansion, to the east of White City really supports our long-term growth strategy to ensure we have the appropriate land supply to accommodate, future residential and potentially some commercial development as well.
The land is being annexed from the RM of Edenwald through a long-standing agreement that will see White City grow to the east and Emerald Park to the west. It follows recent controversy over proposed development of rental townhouses in the town center. The newest land being annexed will be developed in a style similar to what White City has traditionally been known for.
Are just, the same as kind of what current White City is, right? The larger lots, larger driveways, still, maintaining that small, unique community vibe that everyone's became so accustomed to. So
it could take 2 decades to develop the additional land and for an estimated 3,500 residents to move in. That would nearly double White City's current population and take the community from being a town to a city. Wayne Mantica, CTV News, White City.
Regina road crews have been busy with priority roads and snow routes since this week's dump of fresh snow, but now they'll move on to a residential plow next week. The city said around 25 centimeters of snow fell over the 2-day period. That is enough to trigger the full plow. Residents are asked to keep an eye on when plows are coming through their neighborhood and move vehicles out of the way to help crews plow efficiently and on time. You can find more details on where to get alerts on our website, ctvnews.ca/Regina. Yes, Sabine, I know Wayne Mantica wasn't wearing gloves in his stand-up, but it's cold, so wear gloves.
Yeah, so cold that there's some warnings out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you maybe don't have them in your pockets, maybe keep them in your car to wear them just to be on the safe side, because frostbite can settle in within minutes when we're starting to see these warnings issued for many parts of the province. Now, if we're taking a look at our temperatures for today, yeah, very cold, colder than what our daytime average usually is. Taking a look at the almanac, about -5, -6 is our daytime high. Usually today, we warmed up to a balmy -20 degrees. Wind chills have been hovering within the -30 range for most of the day. And now, of course, course, we're starting to see these extreme cold warnings that have been issued, including Regina is in that warning, where we could see wind chill values near or even below minus 40. Now, it doesn't look bad as we take a look at those temperatures, but when we add the wind chill value, it is pretty cold out there, and that's going to continue for the weekend, but I'll have details in your full forecast. Lee?
Thank you, Sabine. An important day for producers in the province as Agriculture Minister David Marit and the federal government announced this year's crop insurance program. While there has been changes, there's concern it won't be enough for farmers devastated by drought like we see in the southwest part of Saskatchewan. Regina DeClute has the details.
The governments of Canada and Saskatchewan are announcing continued support for the crop insurance program. Coverage and premiums are individualized to each operation.
Coverage reflects each producer's own production records, while premiums reflect their claim history.
The president of the Saskatchewan Crop Insurance Corporation says the payouts reflect how recent changes have improved the program.
Since in the last 5 years through SCIC, about $8 billion has been paid out. And, you know, if you think about some of the areas that were challenged in 2025, if we look at those areas, about $1.8 billion has been paid to those areas.
The program has been seeing an increase in insured seeded acres.
If we think back to about 10 years ago, we were probably at 75% of what gets seeded is insured in the province, and as the minister said, we're now at 85%.
For some, however, it's getting pricey.
The insurance is there. It is getting very costly just for some of the regions that have been suffering the last 5 or 6 years.
The southwest corner of the province has been experiencing drought conditions for years.
And now with a lot of the snowfall that has melted and gone, like the ground is quite bare out in other regions. I know the southeast Saskatchewan is bare as well, just from all the warm temperatures we had. I know the southwest is completely bare as well too.
Moreau says the program's yield cushioning is designed to help farmers who are experiencing back-to-back challenging years.
After the second year of challenging yields, we will cushion the yield to 70%, and for every year thereafter, the yield will remain 70% of what we previously offered.
The deadline for producers to apply or make changes to their contract is March 31st. Regina DeClute, CTV News, Melville.
Well, this caused some sadness in our newsroom. The provincial government has ordered the demolition of the Kenosi super slides near Moose Mountain Provincial Park. In an order in council posted last week, the government reached an agreement with a Saskatoon company to demolish the former slide site at a cost not exceeding $227,000. First opened in the 1980s, the super slides haven't been open in any capacity in more than 5 years after the Saskatchewan Health Authority canceled its operating license in 2020, citing deficiencies. The Ministry of Parks, Culture and Sports said after years of sitting unused, the abandoned park has deteriorated and become a significant public safety risk. Demolition work will soon begin and is expected to be complete by the spring. A Prince Albert florist says a sponsored result on Google has used her business's name as a keyword without permission. Jasmine Pelche has a story.
Stacey Coburn is the co-owner of a Prince Albert flower shop called Sentiments Floral. She says a sponsored ad was brought to her attention in December by customers who had ordered from a different store by mistake.
If this continues, then we're going to have no other choice but to pursue it legally, which I mean, I would prefer not to do. I mean, it's a simple request. They just simply have to stop using my name.
She says customers who performed a Google search for Sentiments Floral were coming up with a sponsored result with Sentiments Floral in the headline, but the link brought customers to the website for Burkett's Floral, another florist in Prince Albert.
Google has told me that if they had chosen the word sentiments, it would have been the correct spelling of sentiments, because my business name has a unique spelling behind it where we've put a C behind the S for scent.
Coburn provided CTV with a screenshot she says is of the ad in question. Burkett's partnered with a Canadian company called Blumex and is linked as the Prince Albert partner on the Blumex website. Bloomex's head of retail provided a statement saying it does not control the exact search terms customers type into Google or the way Google chooses to display ads. The statement goes on to say Burkett's Floral is visible on the ad, and it doesn't see how a customer on the website with Burkett's Floral name and branding plainly displayed could believe they're ordering from a different business. Marketing experts say the best way for consumers to make sure they're on the right website is to look beyond sponsored results.
If you go below the sponsored links, that's where the organic search comes in, and that's where you can really look at potentially who's the most popular out there with other consumers.
Coburn says the ad is not currently running, and she hopes it won't come back and cause any confusion for customers. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
Still ahead, more on the U.S. Supreme Court's decision against Trump's global tariffs. And the American government is set to release all files on alien life.
They made it sound like a mournful event.
Born with a condition but refusing to be defined by it. How Kyle Landy is defying the odds and lifting others along the way.
This man has single-handedly helped save my life.
Tonight on CTV National News and watch on Crave.
Well, despite today's ruling by the U.S. Supreme Court, most tariffs remain in place for Canada, including on steel, aluminum, cars, and lumber. Adrian Gabriel has more.
Sitting idle, Canada's auto assembly industry knows full well the toll of President Donald Trump's trade tactics, as does the country's steel and aluminum sectors, railroaded by punishing tariffs. Today's Supreme Court ruling brings little reprieve.
Our members have been on the front lines of this trade war because they work in all the sectors that Trump is coming after: the auto sector, the steel sector, the aluminum sector, the lumber sector.
Sectoral tariffs remain in place for each of those Canadian industries under President Trump's so-called national security tariffs. Trump has multiple levers he can still pull to apply additional trade pressure north of the border.
We expect him to explore a whole range of other options. Those include introducing new legislation to give himself new presidential powers that both President Trump but future administrations would wield.
While bracing for a blunt response from the Trump administration, Unifor's president notes that U.S. trade policy isn't just hurting Canadian industry.
They're having an impact on U.S. workers and U.S. industry. The manufacturing footprint in the U.S. is actually declining.
Speaking at Harvard this week, the president of Canada's Auto Parts Manufacturers Association believes the door has been opened to fight the tariffs still hammering Canada's economy.
It's really important to see that the Supreme Court will rule against the president, even when he overreaches. I think that's an important victory for the rule of law.
Those we spoke with today say it's also important to remain focused on upcoming CUSMA negotiations. The consensus, the clearest path towards keeping Canada's economy afloat, a new free trade deal with our largest trading partner. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Toronto.
Before this week, the federal government website said First Nations people could freely enter the United States for the purpose of employment, study, retirement, immigration. But as Joseph Bernacki tells us, they are now advising First Nation people to carry a passport with their status card upon entry.
It's an unprecedented time, and that means that we all have to make decisions around what we can feel comfortable with.
Negon Sinclair says when it comes to crossing the border, First Nations people now need to be cautious. His message? Bring a valid Canadian passport the next time you need to cross the border. Sinclair worries more American border guards are not familiar with First Nation status cards as a form of ID.
It's one of those cases in which they're just not trained properly. And so what you're left with is a lot of incompetency, a lot of ignorance, and it's probably better just to carry ID that they would understand.
Sinclair's remarks follow the federal government's new travel advice urging First Nations peoples to start carrying a passport upon entry to the U.S. As of Thursday, the government's website has been updated with new guidelines. A statement from the website reads in part, acceptance of all status cards is entirely at the discretion of U.S. officials. Sinclair says First Nations across Canada have been warning of travel to the U.S. since last November.
I think an egregious circumstance requires an egregious solution, and we may have to, for a time period, use Canadian identification instead of our tribal identification.
Sinclair says it's vital for Americans to recognize First Nations rights defined under the Treaty of 1794. The treaty permits First Nations people born in Canada with at least 50% blood quantum to freely cross, work, and live in the U.S. Southern Chiefs Organization Grand Chief Jerry Daniels says more Indigenous governments need to have this conversation with American counterparts.
The Anishinaabe and Dakota, we are nations that really straddle the American-Canadian border. You know, we're Americans in that respect. It's important to put history into context and where we are today.
Daniel says the ways of the past cannot be forgotten moving forward with border relations.
It needs to be recognized that Indigenous nations are, have the right to be on both sides of the border.
Well, the answer to are we alone in the universe could soon be confirmed. U.S. President Donald Trump has ordered the Pentagon and other government agencies to release files related to alien life. It comes after former U.S. President Barack Obama weighed in on the subject of aliens. John Valley-Rao has more.
My gosh. American Navy pilots have spotted them. Look at that thing. Strange objects flying in unusual ways. But now the U.S. president vowing to release whatever his government knows about UFOs and aliens. But is Donald Trump a believer?
I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it.
Trump directing America's Department of War and other agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life. That includes UFOs, which these days are called unidentified aerial phenomena.
A lot of UFO fans are really excited that this is it. This is what we've been waiting for. This is Christmas. We're going to be getting all the files.
There's some.
It all comes after former U.S. President Barack Obama appeared on a podcast and offered a surprising answer to this question.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in what is it?
Area 51.
Area 51.
His statement that they're real led to so much buzz online, Obama later clarified, writing, statistically, the universe is so vast that the odds are good there's life out there. Adding, I saw no evidence during my presidency that extraterrestrials have made contact with us, really. Still, Trump accused Obama of revealing classified information. In 2024, the U.S. Pentagon said there was no evidence alien life had ever been encountered, but added there were sightings that needed further investigation. Still, of Trump's latest directive, some think he's just using it to deflect attention.
Some people had said already that this was going to be a distraction from some other files that he doesn't want to release. So maybe we'll get something, but I'm not holding my breath quite yet.
Meanwhile, Trump did not set any kind of a deadline for the release of information. John Valley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
And sad news from the entertainment industry. Fans, family, and friends mourning the death of screen star Eric Dane at age 53.
I didn't come to Seattle to be chief. I came to Seattle for you, okay? I came to Seattle to get you back.
Dane was best known for his breakout role of Dr. Mark Sloan, also known as McSteamy on Grey's Anatomy. He also had roles on Euphoria and several hit films. Now, last spring, Dane revealed he had been diagnosed with ALS. The actor's publicist says he spent his final days surrounded by dear friends, his devoted wife, and his 2 beautiful daughters. A golden retriever in Moose Jaw's grabbing more than just his favorite toy. What makes him an obedience master? After weather.
Pro wrestling returns to Saskatoon and Yorkton with some star power. Monday on Your Morning, we are talking to Davey Boy Smith Jr., the son of the British Bulldog.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at your forecast as we head into the weekend. We do have some extreme cold. I shouldn't say extreme. We do have cold warnings issued right now. With us heading into the evening, those temperatures are going to cool down quite a bit with the wind chill values nearing or being over above below minus 40. My goodness, it is a Friday. Minus 21 is what we're sitting at right now in Regina with a wind chill value of minus 31. Winds sitting just over 15 kilometers an hour. And this is what we're looking at when it comes to those cold warnings. So Saskatoon, Regina, all of the parkland right down into the southwest or southeast corner there, including Weyburn, Estevan, all under the cold warnings. Now, again, Environment and Climate Change Canada recommending that, of course, if you don't have to be outdoors, don't be outdoors, because those wind chill values will stay within that range, in the -40 range, tonight into the early morning hours. We should start to see those temperatures ease as we head into tomorrow midday, and heading into tomorrow night, we could possibly see those warnings return, because the wind chill values tonight, tomorrow night, and even possibly into Sunday night will be quite cold before we start to see that gradual warm up as we head into next week. So in terms of active weather, I will get out of your way. There is not much to show you here. It's just a little bit of cloud cover that we continue to see rolling through Saskatchewan over the next couple of days. Heading into tomorrow, we will start to see the clouds start to break up to start your day. Mostly sunny conditions for much of the province. We will start to see more of the cloud cover return as we head into Saturday evening. And then even Sunday, while we are expecting a mix of sun and cloud, we'll see more cloud cover start to make its way Sunday evening, because by Monday morning, there is a system coming right there where we will see some snow making its way through mostly central Saskatchewan. As of right now, it looks like southern Saskatchewan is safe when it comes to snowfall. And even then, with that system that's coming through, it's a quick moving system, and it doesn't look like we'll be seeing a lot in terms of snowfall totals on the ground from that system. Temperatures, though, as I've said, we're still going to see well below seasonal temperatures for daytime highs and daytime lows, or I guess evening lows. La Loche -17 tomorrow, along with La Ronge, -16 and mainly sunny for Prince Albert, and -18 for Lloydminster. Again, the overnight lows much cooler, in and around the -30 degree mark. -18 for North Battleford, -19 and mainly sunny for Saskatoon, -19 for Yorkton. And for those daytime highs, even though they're getting close to the -20 mark, adding another probably 5 degrees, those wind chill values will certainly be feeling closer to about -25, -27. Even in the southwest tomorrow, -11, a mix of sun and clouds, sunny, and -12 for Swift Current, -14 for Moose Jaw. The southeast, similar temperatures, still expecting more sunshine throughout the day tomorrow, and that includes Regina. Tonight, though, without the wind chill, Regina dipping to -30 with a wind chill value expected of about -36, 37. And then warming to -19, mainly sunny with a wind chill of about -27 for the daytime high. But heading into the evening again tomorrow, could expect to see those wind chill values getting back into the mid-30s before, like I said, we start to see a little bit of a break from this cold weather. So again, a cold weekend ahead, but lots of sunshine expected. -19 tomorrow, -18 Sunday. And then that's where we start to see that gradual warm up, getting us back into the seasonal range. -7 on Monday, mainly sunny. Tuesday, mainly sunny, -9. By Wednesday, we are back into that average daytime high of -4 with a mix of sun and cloud. And then Thursday, as of right now, we are expecting to see those temperatures bump up above 0. So by Thursday, +2 is expected to be the daytime high. And then we'll see that temperature drop back down below 0 by Friday, seeing mainly sunny conditions at -1. But I do want to point out, we do have a windy day ahead for that Friday. But again, we know situations can change between now and Friday. So if we're talking and focusing on the next few days ahead, very cold still. Make sure you're bundled up, mitts, gloves, scarves. If you don't have to be outside, maybe just stay in this weekend.
All right, so that's the story of the weekend. Chilly.
Frigid.
Frozen.
Cold.
That's good enough. You probably heard a dog owner tell their canine that they've been such a good boy. Good boy, you've been a good boy. But a golden retriever from Moose Jaw has the ribbons and the accolades to prove it. Damian Smith has more.
Over.
This is Tuck, a 6-year-old golden retriever with some of the highest accolades a dog can receive. Trained since he was 6 weeks old, Tuck is a Grandmaster Obedience Trial champion, ranking number 4 in the country.
Down. Sit. When we're healing, he's looking at me and nothing else matters. Nothing else around him. Bombs could go off. You could drop toys. You could do whatever it is you want. And, hey, buddy. Hey. And he'll never take his eye off me.
Overs is one of Tuck's teammates along with his wife, Shelly. Gary has run obedience classes for 44 years, inspired by his first dog for the wrong reasons.
And I was telling the guys that I work with that I got this awful dog. It was running away on me. It was dragging me, jumping the fence, escaping.
While Tuck is skilled in directional jumping and scent discrimination, his golden retriever nature thrives the most in bird hunting.
He loves to be out there doing what he's bred to do. It's in his DNA to get out and retrieve ducks, and that's where he really loves to be.
The Gary Overs Canine Academy trains approximately 700 dogs per year, and the couple recommends training with your dog at least 15 minutes per day.
Obedience is always maintenance. Just because you train a dog to this level, they will get sloppy and start doing little things that they shouldn't be doing.
Your dog needs to be focused on you. Your dog needs to work around distractions without being distracted.
All that hard work for a decorated champion, and his reward is a $10 piece of plastic.
There's his ball. That's his very favorite toy right now, and that can change. But he'd run through a wall for that thing.
And Tuck won't be slowing down anytime soon. The Overs plan to continue competing with him this summer. Damian Smith, CTV News, Moose Jaw.
Still ahead, a longtime referee and his 3 sons get set to share the ice as officials for a game this weekend in Weyburn. Day for Team Canada in Milano Cortina heading into the final weekend of the Olympics. Another thriller, but in the end, Canada will play for gold in men's hockey. And more athletes proudly wearing the Maple Leaf found themselves on the podium. Scott Hurst has your Olympic roundup.
Dreams of Olympic gold are still alive in the men's hockey tournament.
Ultimately, a big win, and now they get to play for the gold medal.
Team Canada beat Finland today to punch their ticket to the final game. The Canadians were trailing 2-0 in the second period when the red and white scored 3 unanswered goals.
This little bit of adversity, this is a good thing for Team Canada. They've learned what it takes when the games tighten up and the skill part is not necessarily available to them right off the bat. How do you grind so you can get to that skill game?
Nova Scotia's Nathan McKinnon with the game winner on the power play with just 35 seconds left in regulation. The final score, 3-2 for Canada. More medals today in speed skating. Valerie Malte was back on the podium for the 3rd time at Milano Cortina in long track. The 35-year-old in her 5th Olympic Winter Games won bronze in the women's 1,500 meter. Canada also landed on the podium in men's free ski halfpipe. Brendan McKay needed a big score on his 3rd and final run, and that's exactly what he got from the judges. A 91 even, enough to put him into 3rd, a bronze medal for the 28-year-old from Calgary in his 2nd Olympics. With just a couple of days left in the Olympics, there are still plenty of opportunities for Canadians to land on the podium, including in both men's and women's curling. The women will play for bronze against the Americans tomorrow, while the men have a shot at gold against Great Britain. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
In Weyburn, a crew of referees share more than just the ice and their love for the game of hockey. They also share the same family name. Donovan Mace has their story.
Doug Walter has been officiating hockey for more than 3 decades.
I do it for the love of the game. I coach, still play rec hockey myself, reffing, and if I'm not here, I'm at home sleeping.
That love for the game he's passed down to his sons, Brody, Keaton, and Preston. The 3 boys now don the stripes just like their dad.
Let's go.
When all 4 step on the ice Saturday night for a local under-15 hockey game, they'll share the ice as a crew.
I was always hoping that things would come about like this, coaching them hockey and then slowly getting involved in reffing, and now everybody's involved.
Working with them and trying to help them grow and trying to pass down what I've learned from my dad and all the other officials I've worked with to try and make them better.
It's a rare opportunity for the Walters to work a game together. The oldest, Brody, goes to school in Saskatoon, where he's now a linesperson in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, as he passes down the things he's learned to his younger brothers as they, too, work through the ranks.
Just putting in the best effort you can. Even though as refs, we do make mistakes and we are humans, but I think just putting your best foot forward is always the best thing you can do.
They've always taught me to be consistent. Sometimes refs can be on and off a call.
And while still early in their officiating careers, Doug hopes his sons continue to refine their skills and earn the opportunity to work more games together in the future.
They're going to get older and we're going to do higher and higher levels, and it'll be exciting to go from U15 to U18, and never know. And do a senior hockey game together someday. So,
Donovan May, CTV News, Weyburn.
WHL, the Regina Pats look to extend their season-best winning streak to 5 games as they host the Edmonton Oil Kings tonight.
Winka without his stick, down low. There's Miette, back to the line, to the left side. One-timer scores.
Pats have actually taken 2 or 3 from the Oil Kings this season, despite sitting 30 points behind them in the standings. Puck drop at the Brandt Centre, 7 o'clock. Also tonight, Moose Jaw hosts Prince Albert. Swift Current entertains Prince George. Still ahead, claims of more Canadians forced to sign NDAs after getting ill at a Mexican resort.
Everyone's excited that it's almost Friday. All right. I mean, end of Friday. You know what I mean. Let's get into your rural forecast tomorrow. Still cold temperatures across the province, and we're still going to be seeing Hudson Bay maybe right around the cold warning, and then further down, all the way down across the province, down into the southeast corner there. We could see them lift, as I've been saying, throughout the day, and then those warnings return in the evenings. The wind chill values are still going to be quite frigid. As we take a look at the temperatures, more sunshine expected, though. -19, mainly sunny for Watrous, a mix of sun and cloud for Melfort, -19. -21 for Wynyard, -16 for Hudson Bay and Outlook, -17 for Meadow Lake and Spiritwood, and -13 for Kindersley. Mainly sunny in Lloydminster, -18, a mix of sun and cloud. Closer to the southern border, temperatures a few degrees warmer for the southwest at least. -12 for East End Cypress, Rockglen, and Assiniboia. -11 for Maple Creek. Leader also -12 in the southeast. Carlisle, -16, -18 for Broadview, -19 for Kenora, Pilot Butte, and Lumsden. And if we take a closer look at Colonsay tomorrow, -21 is the expected daytime high. Mainly sunny with a wind chill of -30 into the evening tomorrow for the Colonsay and surrounding areas. -30 is the expected low with a wind chill of -37.
Saskatchewan's advanced education minister and post-secondary representatives are going on a 1-week trade mission to Asia. The contingent of officials from the province, the U of R, U of S, and SAS Polytech is heading to the Philippines and Thailand today to work on the province's education, research, and labor goals. It's meant to create new partnership opportunities for Saskatchewan post-secondary institutions with the long-term goal of attracting more talent to the province and making more opportunities for Saskatchewan students to study abroad. There are more reports tonight of Canadian travelers falling violently ill after staying at a certain Mexican resort. As John Woodward tells us, some allege that the resort tried to get them to sign non-disclosure agreements in exchange for medical care.
Several fire trucks and ambulances lined up at Pearson Airport's Terminal 3 Thursday night called for 7 patients sick on a WestJet flight back from Cancun. No one went to hospital that night, but it may not be the only case.
You're cramping, throwing up. Your eyeballs feel like they're ripping out of your head. It's the worst feeling. I mean, I'll be honest with you, we've had COVID. This was worse than COVID for us.
Neil Matheson was on a flight back from Cancun the day before. He says he passed out on the WestJet flight home, his 19-month-old son now undergoing tests.
For me, I'm an adult. We could handle with kids and stuff. You messing with my kids, I don't like that stuff.
He and his family stayed at the Royalton Splash Riviera, a common thread among many vacationers who reached out to CTV News after our first story about many people in that hotel getting sick with norovirus or E. coli, several so serious they were hospitalized.
This is a terrifying experience.
Christina Wishlow's family went in December. She says they got sick too, and in a dispute with the hotel following that, she was presented with a contract that says she shall not directly or indirectly disclose the incident or any other perceived negative experience relating to the incident to anyone in any way, saying it is the intention of the parties to avoid and prevent publicity. The payment, 20,000 Marriott Bonvoy points, or about $200 Canadian.
Clearly, they're not trying to fix the problem. They're just trying to hide it.
Matheson said he was presented with a similar contract in exchange for a free doctor's visit that would have otherwise cost them $900. He didn't sign it.
We're humans. We have kids, families, and lives. And, you're trying to silence what's going on here.
No Canadian court would uphold a contract like that, says this tourism professor.
You need a doctor
sign this NDA before you can go to the doctor. That's never going to be enforceable.
No one from WestJet, Royalton, Splash Cancun, or the Marriott hotel chain returned our emails, but hotel guests say they'll talk about what happened, contract or not.
Canola street price is up $3 to $625, 3 cents per ton, while the futures price is up $2.10 to $686.70 per ton. Amber durum wheat stayed the same, $278.59 per ton, while red spring wheat's up $1 to $266.93 per ton. Feed barley stayed the same, $232, 1 cent per ton, while flax is $650, 54 cents per ton. Those prices courtesy of Bunge. Markets at TSX up 222 points. The Dow Jones a little more slightly by 230. As for the Canadian dollar, went up 0.06 of a cent. It's now at 73.08 cents US. Commodity front, gold up 111.36 cents. West Texas Intermediate crude down 4 cents, while Western Canadian Select crude went up again, $1.45 today. And no movement yet on the gas front. You got to wonder how long that's going to last. It's sitting at $1.27.9 cents per liter.
Investors are now trying to figure out the outcome this back and forth will have on U.S. trade policy. The S&P 500 rose after Donald Trump pledged to defend his tariff program, but uncertainties on any potential budget shortfalls kept a lid on the U.S. dollar and treasuries. Donald Trump is saying today he doesn't have a clear answer on whether he will need to reimburse companies for taxes paid. Refunds could total as much as $170 billion. Canadian retail sales saw a drop in December, but are on track to rebound to start the year. In a flash estimate, sales in January are expected to increase 1.5%. StatsCan says despite U.S. tariffs, people continue to shop in 2025 with sales up 4% compared to the previous year. Eldorado Gold is one of the biggest laggers on the TSX today. The company is warning that production will be lower due to the delay of a key mine startup in Greece. The delay will result in an additional $50 million in costs. Those are your business headlines. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
Coming up tonight after the newscast, we have a movie called Ainsley McGregor Mysteries.
Yeah.
A case for the watchmaker.
It's a great one. It's a good one.
What's it about?
She teaches criminology, but she also has a book club, and then they solve.
Okay. Almost time to ring those phones.
Telemiracle is marking its 50th show in about a week, February 28th to March 1st at Prairieland Park. In celebration of its 50th anniversary, the telethon has been extended by 2 hours, giving people more time to donate to the Kinsman Foundation to help people across Saskatchewan access specialized medical equipment and travel assistance. And they just shared that there's a number of acts performing Saturday. Econoline Crush, The Steadies, there's a whole group of them.
So they're extending it, so it's going to be even longer?
22 hours instead of 20.
Longer than your explanation of that movie that's coming up.
She loves when she hears you say it's so mature for your age, babe. She looks like she could be your daughter.
Hilary Duff is also bringing her Lucky Me Tour to SaskTel Center. It'll be Friday, January the 29th. Tickets go on sale Tuesday at 10 a.m. through Ticketmaster. So if you're a Hilary Duff fan, might be worth checking out.
I think we know a number of them that are excited to get tickets to this show.
Yes. But you're not going to be here next week because you are at...
No, yeah. So it kicks off on Monday, and I'll be gone all week until Saturday when the telethon starts, 7 p.m.
Bye.
Bye.